Well, you see the summer, whatever the fuck, Chiron, whatever the fuck that's called, overlay. I don't know. I got palm trees. I got flamingos. It's Sacktap Live, pre-recorded. Apologies. I did that, I think, last week. Off next week. And then back the week after that. I'm not sure if live or pre-recorded. And I apologize for all of the pre-records and the this and the that. And, I know it's a lot, but again, every time I do it, I explain. I started doing it on Friday nights during the fucking lockdown. I thought the government was going to keep us in our household jails forever. They did let us out. And now that we outside, it's just where we're at. I am at the worst stage of facial hair right now. I get this. For me, it grows in thickest in the circle beard area. Like I'm pretty stubbly all around, but for whatever reason, it's just densest here, and I get this like fucking shade of chin beard, so I wind up looking like the biggest douchebag on the planet on the camera here. I don't know when I guess I'll have to shave it tomorrow night. I'm actually recording this Thursday afternoon. It's gonna run Friday night. I'm going out to dinner Friday night before Memorial Day weekend. So I want to get the pre-record out of the way, and since I had some space, this way I don't have to do it Friday. I can have a nice, relaxing day. Go hit the weights a little bit and just chill out. Maybe smoke some chiba, do some reading. Uh, think about the lost days of my youth summers down at the Jersey Shore. This morning, I woke up at 6 this morning, um, and I'm not sure why. I mean, I wound up knowing why I wound up taking a huge shit within like 10 minutes of getting up. It was like 6:30 or so, and I woke up and it was like I was the kind of awake where you're like, we're not going back to sleep. So I guess, which I think comes from the energy. I think when you have to take a shit, your body gets this like little jolt of adrenaline or something like that like wakes you up. Something happens that tells you to wake up. Like, I don't know if it's the process of your bowels kind of loading up or whatever, but it was time to go. I'm a morning guy. When I wake up, I usually have a log to drop. But it was just a Thursday morning. Usually Thursday is a work day, so I would be up defecating. Usually if I'm up at 4:15, 4:20, I'm defecating by 10 after 5. Um, but Fridays it usually doesn't happen until 9 a.m. So I don't know. It's just one of those interesting things where you're like, oh wow, my body really knows. Like, this day you shit at this time, that day you shit at that time, or is it because I went through my usual Wednesday? I went to the gym Wednesday night. I did cardio. I had my shake right after, and then I had dinner, and then I was asleep by 10. Is that my body just saying, okay, it's 8 hours later now, we're ready to shit? Whereas Thursday, I tend not to eat my big meal until much, much later, usually, usually around maybe 10 o'clock at night or so. And then I get to bed closer to midnight, wake up around 9. Is that just the 8-9 hours it takes to be ready to blast off? Or is it kind of like, when a dog knows its owner is coming back, like from a mile away, they can start sensing it. So it's just something interesting. If there are any I don't know, gastroenterologist, is that who would know? Not the proctologist. I think the proctologist is really concerned with the whole. Like, I think they have a very narrow focus on just the exit. I think you need like a gastro to do it. It's interesting. I was always curious, and I have no idea why they call them gastro pubs, where you like places like a bar where you can get a cheeseburger. It's called a gastro pub. That was always weird to me that people felt like that you should apply that to a restaurant. I think gastro, and I immediately think of some guy who's got to take a shit. I don't know if, you know, I don't know if that's the way to sell artisanal burgers and house cut fries. Anyway, the morning did have a very summer vacation-y feel to it. I am off from work for a week, so that might have part of it. It was a Thursday morning, so I was off. And I went up. By the time I had my coffee, it was only like 8 o'clock. So I was like, "Fuck it, we'll go for a little stroll around Hoboken." I went out, and people were like going to work, getting on the bus, and everything. And I'm walking around in shorts and a t-shirt, backwards hat, fucking just strolling down the street on a nice warm spring day. And it very much felt like, you know, when your senior year or so, junior, senior year, you're supposed to be in class. You're just like, fuck this. Like we're going to hang out outside. There's a very end of, even though I'm an adult and I'll be working through most of the summer, I get a generous amount of time off, but you still work most of the time. There's still something about this time of year where you get the summer vacation feeling. And I know there are people who hate summer. That's like a big thing, is people who complain about summer. They want it to be spring and fall. You know, I think, we can agree that the middle of winter sucks. But even that, if you're not a complete, like, I don't want to say pussy, just fucking sour puss, you can make winter enjoyable because you have competitive, great football. Really, the best football you're going to watch all year is being played from, it starts really around Thanksgiving, but say, if you really wanted to say January, that's 6 week stretch from New Year's through the Super Bowl, you're not going to see better fucking football all year. So that's awesome. And then there is kind of a glum stretch from mid-February to maybe mid-April, because it's around here. It's very rainy during March and April, and it gets kind of windy and wet, and it sits in this perpetual 40 to 60 degree spot where it's almost nice out, but it's never nice enough out. But that's what spring is around here. Summer, you get a couple miserable weeks, late July into August, but that's when you go to the fucking beach. Go to the beach. Go somewhere with a fucking pool. I think the beach is the fucking place. It weirds me out when people aren't into the beach. Like, how do you not? There's something so animalistic. I feel like something in our evolutionary past, when we came out of the fucking ocean, that should be drawing you towards a body of water, especially on a hot day. It's always cooler near the water. You get the breeze blowing just a little bit of a spritz into the air, sitting on the beach. Have a nice beverage. They're going to be women with bodies that are enjoyable to look at. It's really hard to fuck up a day at the beach unless you get like absolutely cooked in the sun. And even then, you don't realize until afterwards. But just fucking bring an umbrella, put on some sunblock, sit and get you have to outfit yourself for a day at the beach. You can't just fucking roll up and expect to enjoy it. Umbrella, blanket, food, drink, a vape pen is great, or mushrooms or something like that. A comfortable chair, the kind of chair you can sit in the water too. One of the greatest moves of all time is taking a beach chair and just sitting in the fucking water while the waves roll in. Or if you're by a bay or a lake or something like that, enjoy the summer. It is literally, feminism goes out the fucking window in the summer. Women become far more scantily clad. They tip a few back, and they're just looking for a guy to fucking suck face with if you're out at a bar. You can't go wrong. It's very, very weird to me that people hate the summer. Fall is nice, spring is nice, but I think the popularity of those seasons is very indicative of our society becoming pussified. Um, you know, and I know that there are people who it's sort of a hot take to say everyone's a pussy now, but the fall and the spring they make you think of that sort of soft-bodied millennial dad walking down the street pushing the stroller, and he has kids, and he loves his kids, but uh is filled with that was it Thoreau who talked about men living lives of quiet desperation? This is a man who really never did anything dangerous in his life. Got married at 28 to the first chick he ever hooked up with at a Hoboken happy hour. They were both just fucking immense family pressure from their upper middle class families to get married and buy a place, invest, buy a place. You'll have it your whole life, and you can retire on it. Have a couple kids. When are we going to have grandkids? I see them all over. I talk about this doppelganger of a guy all the time. They're all over Hoboken. They're the kind of father that calls their son honey. I saw that once when I was umpiring a little league baseball game back in my younger days. I used to do that for a little cash when I was a teenager, and some father called his son honey and gave him a kiss on the head, and I was like, that's the gayest shit I've ever fucking seen, is what my teenage brain thought of it. Which I guess are you allowed? Does the Brady word the Brady roast, does that mean that certain words are back in play? Because it seems like we're settling back to where we were supposed to be. Um, I'll hold off. I'll hold off a little bit on really throwing them around, but hopefully within the next 6 months to a year or so, we're fist deep in the lexicon of the 1990s. Great work, Gronk. But those guys, I feel like those guys love springtime. They love fall. The spring for them is they'll go to we have the Jersey City beer garden here, and you're like allowed to bring a stroller with your kids, like one of the few drinking establishments that allows children. And it's always like families and stuff, and it's just like, this is what this guy's been reduced to, fucking pushing, officially pushing his kids down the street and getting a pilsner in a big glass. That's his excitement. Yeah, that guy is probably not a huge fan of summer. But if summer is one of those people, you got to be a little hot-blooded to like the summer. I guess that's what it is. I did summer shares down at the Jersey Shore for many, many years. 2011, I think, and 2016 was the last time I did one, and then my girlfriend at the time lived in Belmar, so I got extended a couple years. So about 7 years or so of it. And now, of course, I have family living down there. I'm down the shore every weekend. Anyway, albeit under far more comfortable sleeping conditions than a summer share rental, which is basically a flop house. So that is when, because, right, everyone kind of loves the summer when they're in college, high school, whatever. It's just the time of freedom and no responsibility. And then you hit the working world, and some people get into the rat race, and to them, summer is, standing on a subway platform, waiting for the 6 train. You're wearing a fucking suit or whatever. And if you're not doing a summer share, maybe you get one beach weekend, one or two, you get invited to someone's house or something like that. And even that, the entire trip is a pain in the ass. If you're going down from the city, you probably got to ride NJ Transit. Taking the train can be a nightmare on a summer Friday. especially if you don't know what to expect. You were thinking like a nice train ride on the coast, and all of a sudden there's fucking, there's 2 dozen bros in the fucking train car chugging White Claws, getting ready to go to fucking happy hour. If you're a New York City pussy, you understand how you may not love that. But if you're about that life, if you're going down on weekends to have a good time and you don't give a fuck what you're sleeping on, air mattress, well, you know how many chicks have just gotten fucking dogged on an air mattress at the Jersey Shore? Like go to a Caucasian wedding in New Jersey, fucking Long Island, Pennsylvania, anywhere that feeds the Jersey Shore rental scene, and you are gonna find a lot of brides who, if you flipped back through their sexual past, it would involve getting fucking dicked down on like a lower bunk or an air mattress or in like a fucking attic room. It's fucking boiling hot attic room at the Jersey Shore. Chicks will just get fucking plowed in the weird, like the most absurd conditions at the Jersey Shore. I mean, I banged my head on multiple occasions, plowing chicks doggy style on the bottom bunk of a bed in my Manasquan summer rental. And then there was one place in Belmar that we had where there was a big walk-in closet. There were actually multiple places in Belmar that we had that featured just big walk-in closets, which with mattresses on the floor, that at any time of the day or night you might find two people fucking. Like, it's a goddamn fuck fest down there is what it is. So it was always strange to me when people weren't really like into that or excited about it, because to me, as a guy in his 20s, there was nothing better than going down the shore on the weekend and just acting like a fucking savage. um the amount the amount of substance that you see people consist down there. You get down there on, if you're lucky, if you have summer Fridays, you don't work Fridays, you can really make an aggressive weekend out of the shore. So you can get there on a Thursday, right after work, you head down. If you take the train down from Manhattan after work, you will see a lot of like finance bros and chicks who still party, who are on their way down to their summer share houses. Thursday night, you get DJs has a theme party. It's theme party Thursday, so they'll have like everyone's Italian night, or Christmas in July, or New Year's, Valentine's Day. They do a Cowboys and Indians, Halloween. It's just a fucking it's grown up. It really is grown-ups with disposable income pretending they're back at college for 4 days at a time. So you do that, and it's a blackout event, and it will get packed. Like, it gets as packed as the most bumping New York City nightclub on a Saturday night. You're just not going to beat. I don't know anywhere that I don't know. I've partied all over the fucking planet. I don't know if there is anywhere that throws down harder than DJs in Belmar. Just, if you party, if you have a chance, get yourself to the Jersey Shore one summer weekend and go to DJs. I cannot just emphasize this enough. You have to do DJs. It is the greatest thing in the world. It is one of the few places left in all of America. I would say that place in Ocean City, Maryland, where you can like walk into the water and they have the tables, Secrets, where you can still have an unbridled and unpretentious good time. Because I know people will be like, oh, Miami nightclubs, this, that, whatever. It's like, no, this is different. DJs is for everybody. Like, you will just find all walks of life there. 21 to fucking 80. Um, and they're just raging their fucking ball. Like everyone is, there are people who are there who are just baked as shit, getting high as we get high as fuck before going. You got like the cocaine sluts there. It's a fine place if you're into like mushrooms or Molly or something like that. You want to go on a little trip and rub up on people. The overwhelming population there are all raging alcoholics. That their TVs all over the place. You get all the best fucking games. They have an ocean view window, so you can see the line forming up outside as it gets later, and it gets more crowded on the inside. And it's just a parade of big tits and fat asses, and everyone's like joking. It's like a fun line to be on because everyone's fucking goofing off and having fun, and because they're just pre-game to the fucking gills. You do that so you go there on Thursday night for the theme party. Friday, just you chill out, recover on the beach all day. If you're young and you still have your blood about you, you can go. A lot of guys go hit the gym. You get a workout in because it is the gym tan laundry thing is very real there. They're getting away from Guido's society down there. The Guidos will always have a presence at the Jersey Shore. Guidos in the New Jersey area. It's like the mafia. Even when it's not there, it's still there. It's just in lesser, lesser amounts. The Guidos are still there. It's just that the Shore has become popular with everyone. The Shore used to be like just a summer locale, and there weren't as many houses, and it was just like whatever, like whoever's family had a house would be at the Jersey Shore. People might go down and rent a motel room or whatever. Over the years, it became, the rental thing became a thing. A lot of people's families started doing a week at the Shore, and then I think I would imagine it was probably in like the 70s, 80s. Maybe the boomer generation, as they hit their 20s, started doing like the full season rental. Like I know my father did. He did his in Ortley, I believe, and like a bunch of like my parents' friends. They would always mention they did their house here, there, whatever. But you hang on the beach all day Friday, and then DJs does Friday happy hour. Friday happy hour has fucking a buffet. You go in, you buy a drink, and you go and you can feast at this buffet. Sausage and peppers, penne and vodka, nice Caesar salad, garlic bread. It's incredible. As many plates as you want. If you're in there drinking for happy hour, just keep going back. So you hit the DJ's buffet, you rage out, and then it's Friday night. So everyone who had to work Friday starts getting down. You go meet them back at the house around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock or so. Chill out for a couple hours. Everybody showers up. And then it's time to go out to wherever the Friday night fucking spot is, which back in the day for us was always Jenkinson's in Point Pleasant, which is just a massive, massive beachfront club. And it's like on the beach, like it's in the sand. It's right next to Tiki Bar. These are, again, spots. These are must-hit spots if you're coming to the Shore. You go to a Tiki Bar you want to go to on a Monday in the morning. They do, it's called Strippers and Clippers. It's everyone who works in the service industry has off on Monday, so they have a party at Tiki Bar all day, and people are eating raw bar and fucking ripping oyster shooters on the beach, and there's a DJ, and there are chicks. A lot of chicks at Tiki love a fucking thong bikini. It is truly one of the great joys of the Jersey Shore is the thong bikini at Tiki Bar. A lot of big fat asses. New Jersey is a fitness state. We do have a lot of slovenly, disgusting fucks in New Jersey, but New Jersey is also a fucking meathead state. So a lot of our women squat and deadlift. So You go down on the shore, you see a lot of fucking thick, fucking muscly cheeks. It's nice. You see a lot of really well put together broads down there. Um, so Tiki and Jenks on a Friday night. You wake up Saturday morning, you're going to have a couple hours of just kind of lounging around the house. What you need in your shore house, if you're doing a Jersey Shore summer rental, you need a couple guys who are into making breakfast. I was a big making breakfast guy down there. It's usually what you're going to have. You're always going to have a couple meatheads in the house who need to get their fucking fatty protein in before a day of drinking. And you're always going to have just a couple of fat guys in the house who want to make sure there's some kind of breakfast available. The meatheads and the fat guys are going to be the ones who are up in the morning, fucking, because they're probably the meatheads probably took something before they went to sleep the night before, like the milk thistle and whatever, Z-biotics, what have you, so that they could actually be up and functional the next day. And the fat guys usually have some sort of indigestion, so they wind up getting up. You fucking cross paths in the kitchen in the morning, and you just get to work, get all the eggs out of the refrigerator, start chopping up potatoes, peppers, and everything like that. This, by the way, does a few things for you. One, it makes sure you get a nice breakfast in. Two, it puts you on full display for the house as someone who has pitched in to help the house, so that when there are other chores to be done that are less glamorous, like cleaning up a bathroom or fucking cleaning up after a party, people aren't going to look to you because you're the fucking cook, which is huge. If you're the cook, because the guy who makes drinks people will be pissed off at him if he doesn't help clean shit up. The cook has done a serious labor. The guy who's making drinks is getting fucking hammered, so everyone gets kind of annoyed with him if he's not helping with the cleanup. If you pay for all the booze, you can get away with a lot of shit in terms of like not pitching in other ways around the house. And obviously, these are ways to pitch in. It's just they're, I think, more enjoyable ways. Being the guy who provides the booze, being the guy who provides the fucking the food and cooks the meal. If you're going to have to do some work around a house, it may as well be that stuff. The other reason is if you cook decent, you're going to have some chicks in the house. And there's never been a fucking woman on the planet who was turned off by a guy who had some kitchen skills. So if you're going to do a summer shit, even if you're just going to, if you're in your 30s and you're single and you have a bunch of single friends and you want to fucking fantasy camp it and do an Airbnb for a week, still in a microcosm, fucking one of your friends fucking brings a single chick along. She just got out of a long relationship. It didn't work out. All of a sudden, here's the guy cooking eggs for everybody in the Airbnb. Guess who's getting his dick sucked? So yeah, learn to make a fucking omelet. That light flickering? I hope not. By noon on Saturday, some people, you got to probably want to get a Saturday workout into, just because if you do not work out aggressively through the summer at the shore, your body will start to look disgusting by, I would say, you can usually hold off until like early August or so. You'll be bloated and gross by Labor Day weekend. So you have to work out continuously. Always want to have some dumbbells, some bands, and a pull-up bar at the house so you can hit quick workouts, pre-beach, pre-bar pumps. Bring a pair of running shoes so you can get a run in. I was a big beach sprints guy. Most beach towns like Belmar has beachfront pull-up bars and dip bars and all that shit. So you get a solid workout in. If you have a retro fitness membership or whatever and you want to go to the gym, you can go for it. You just got to be careful about the parking in these towns is a fucking nightmare. So it's you got to be very careful about if you have a parking spot, especially one close to your house. You really have to weigh the pros and cons of leaving on a Saturday morning, because if you do, you're probably going to lose the spot. And it might take you an hour plus a walk to find a fresh spot. So, you know, consider these things. Saturday afternoon, you're probably, you know, if you're cool, if you got a good squad about you, you probably have invites rolling into various like house parties and happy hours and hangouts. Eventually, everyone is convening at DJs. By 4 o'clock. You got to be at DJs. That's prime time. Get to DJs by 4. But otherwise, I love a low key Saturday afternoon bar A hang before going to DJs. Bar A has a grotto beach, so you can you hang out there. They got a little grotto waterfall that you go in, cool off on, sit in an Adirondack chair in the sand. They'll have a DJ going. Good, it's a good time, but a little lower key than the shenanigans you're going to be engaging in later. And then you sometimes you just bounce around a little bit, house to house. When I was doing Belmar houses, I don't know if they still have it. If I'll walk by at some point this summer, but there's this house full of cops on Ocean Avenue who used to throw ragers, and they would hire a bartender. My house one summer we had a fucking DJ a couple times. We had a dunk tank and like a pinata, slip and slide, all that shit. And you buy up 100 burgers or so, you're throwing them on the grill, and bit by bit, people walk in off the street because people are just kind of walking from gathering to gathering, making friends because everyone's down every weekend. So you wind up meeting people and making friends and acquaintances. Still, to this day, some of my closest friends are people that I've met partying down at the Jersey Shore when I was in my 20s. Because it's a lot of, like, as I know everyone from outside of New Jersey thinks it's all fucking trash. The part of that is because they used Seaside, which gets the highest concentration of trash go to Seaside. I'll talk about Seaside in a minute because I love Seaside Heights. But if you're up Belmar, Manasquan, Asbury, like, it's a legitimate, like, professional and social networking bonanza for several months because a lot of people there, finance, lawyers, fucking teachers, like, hey, this district's looking for an opening. Hey, it's all that. And then everyone's just getting drunk and banging each other. I can't emphasize that enough, that everybody there, like, you can't become too emotionally the whole don't fall in love with the Jersey Shore thing is legit. And it's not that people do wind up pairing off and meeting, their future partners at the Jersey Shore. I dated a chick that I met down the shore. We were together for 3 years after that summer. And my sister met her husband down there. So, like, I know a lot of people who have met spouses at the Jersey Shore, but you also have to, if you are out there doing the single scene at the shore, you have to operate with the understanding that no one is yours. There is no honor amongst thieves down there. It is every set of genitals for themselves. Everyone is trying to bang everyone. Like, it is the most sexually charged environment I have ever been in. Outside of, like, Walking Street in Pattaya, Thailand, I have never been in a more sexually charged environment than fucking Belmar or Manasquan during the summer. Or go to Porta on a Saturday night, headliner on a Saturday night, fucking Jenks at night, DJs in the middle of the afternoon. It is just genitals being raw rubbed against each other, fucking cheeks being grabbed, faces being sucked, and you go back to those houses and it is just a fucking goddamn, it's a free for all. And it can be tough because you everyone develops little like shore crushes and stuff like that. And at any given time, whoever you are, male or female, um, you could turn a corner at a party, in in your own shore house, at your favorite bar, and see the person that you were really into, that you've maybe hooked up with a couple times over the summer. You've maybe even had a couple like long chats like on the beach or fucking over coffee in the morning, and like a lot of like giggles and stuff going back and forth. And you've made out a few times, maybe even had sex once, fucking, or whatever. The worst is if you fucking limp dicked a chick because you had too much substance in you, and then you see her fucking 2 weeks later sucking face with some other guy. That's a tough one. um I think every if you haven't had an erectile failing at the Jersey Shore, it's because you haven't been able to pull enough chicks to be in a situation to have an erectile failing. I always say one of my absolute favorite stories from the Jersey Shore. I mean, one of my it's I say favorite stories in the sense that people love Romeo and Juliet. It's a tragedy. Um, I was riding the train back up north on Father's Day. My girlfriend had a big barbecue at her apartment, so I was hammering burgers all Saturday, just fucking destroying burgers. And she had all her friends down. We were all fucking partying. And we're riding. I was riding the train back up north with I want to say I think it was like my sister. She used to come to my family's all shore people, and my ex-girlfriend's friends. And I remember this day distinctly because I took a huge shit in the train bathroom. It's the only time I've ever shit on a train. I just It had to happen. I had foregone taking a shit so I could have sex when I woke up that morning. And then I had to rush to the fucking train. And then I remember sitting on the train getting those shit sweats. And I was like, all right, like this is just the way it's going down. I remember taking a massive shit on the train and feeling so relieved. And anyway, I went back and sat down, and one of the girls who was riding up with us, she's a very sexy Asian chick. She used to be a cheerleader at the University of Miami. Had gone home with this guy who I guess she'd made out with him a couple times before. They had a little history, but they had never gotten to have sex, and the pants never came off. They had fallen asleep together. Yada, you know how it goes. And so she went from Bar A, which is in Belmar, to down to this guy's place in Seaside Heights. And they'd finally gotten his pants off. They were going to finally have sex. And she said he had a micro dick and he couldn't get an erection. And all I can remember is like just sitting in this story and thinking about how it was Father's Day. And this guy was going to be hungover at his parents' house. Fucking his dad and his uncle are there, probably asking him how he's doing with the ladies down the shore. Because he's like, oh, he's got a shore outside just like his old man. Probably a real lady killer, huh? And he's got to just kind of like, through his teeth, be like, yeah, doing good. When in reality, he knows that, just less than hours before, he was in a bed with a fucking cheerleader from the U, and could not rise to the occasion, and what his father and his uncle would think of that, and the shame that he must have spent that day feeling. Because anxiety is so real. Anxiety gets even worse when you have failed sexually, especially in an environment like the Jersey Shore where everyone talks to each other. So it's going to get out a little bit. Like I just take a fucking Rhino 5000 or one of those. Now you can get a Blue Chew, no problem. But I used to take the Rhino before I would go down. So I would have just like a nice 72-hour fucking rod to walk around with. Probably not the best idea in retrospect, in combination with some of the other substances I was enjoying. But, tis what it is. But the social shame, combined with the hangxiety, combined with the fact that it's fucking Father's Day, and you're going to feel like a genetic disappointment as well. A lot of difficult things for that young man to deal with. That's the Belmar scene, and they have Sunday Fun Day too. Of course, you go play. They do breakfast bingo at DJs. You can win fucking literally. They give out wads of cash as prizes and high end electronics. It's incredible. It's awesome. It's the greatest fucking place in the world. You had it. That is, fuck going somewhere in New York. Going to see Times Square. If you're coming to this area in the summer, go to see DJs in Belmar. Fucking Seaside Heights. So that what I just described for you was the weekend. If you're in Manasquan, if you're in Belmar, if you're in Manasquan, you probably go to the Osprey or Leggett's. Those are, that's where that crowd hangs out. I've been, not necessarily my cup of tea, although like the Leggett's patio, a nice Miami Vice on the Leggett's patio is A-OK. I'm not a huge Osprey guy. That place is a douchebag festival. Seaside Heights. That's where they shot Jersey Shore. So that's the one that's most familiar. A lot of those clubs have closed. They no longer exist. The Seaside is very much trying to upscale itself, but it's going to take forever to get rid of the Seaside element because the boardwalk is so filled. Like all along the boardwalk and Seaside are like these little like shotgun shack style bars, like where you just go in and it's just a nice long bar, and there's some space for people to fucking dance. And cover bands are really big in these places. These bars are different from the clubs in Seaside. The scumbags are really to be found in those bars. There are scumbags in the clubs too. I mean, it's definitely more of a blue collar class, I'll say, kindly. Well, maybe not after calling them scumbags, but go down there and see for yourself. But again, Seaside's kind of special because it's one of those places where it's a family destination. So if you're a teenager, there's a lot of fun to be had. Like when we'd be on Long Beach Island, when I was growing up, there's my parents now reside. We've always been LBI people. By the time we had driver's licenses, my friends and I would leave LBI and we would drive. It takes 45 minutes or so to get off the island and then onto. It's funny, these towns are like fucking, if there was a fucking bridge connecting them, they'd be 20 minutes apart. It's fucking, you have to go around a fucking peninsula to get there. So it takes a good 45 minutes or so, and we would go to Seaside because the boardwalk in Seaside, if you're a teenage boy, that place is a fucking dream. You just go get drunk and fucking smoke a blunt, way back away from everything, and then walk, because you will get arrested very quickly. That is a place where the cops love to fuck your shit up. The cops at the Jersey Shore love to fuck your shit up. Which, I mean, now in an age of terrorism and mass shootings, I guess it's good to have a lot of vigilant cops out there. But they will also ruin a good time right fucking quick. But yeah, you just get fucked up and you walk around the boardwalk. And again, it's there. You're going to see a lot of chicks your own age, whatever you are, fucking, you're 16 through 18 years old, fucking strutting the boardwalk at night, all jacked up on testosterone and fucking high school football workouts. And you see these chicks, your age, but from other towns. So they're like these exotic finds, and they've been sneaking vodka away from their parents and shit, and they're walking around, and it is just, magic. You can imagine what unfolds. It is magical. What time? I'm about 45 in. Well, I didn't even get to the stories I was going to do today, which is good. I like I like that I just talked about summer at the Jersey Shore. Um, yeah. So check out the parting shot. Get to DJs. Social media. Please find me Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram at Gary_Moyler, Moyler, YouTube at Mike's Golden Streams. And if you could, wherever you're listening to this, if you're listening to the podcast, the Savage Sacktap, whatever you're doing, screenshot it, share it, tag me, and direct others here. Have yourselves a great Memorial Day weekend. Apologies again for the pre-record. And hopefully I'll see you live sooner than later. Again, off next week, back the week after that. Just not positive yet if it is going to be live. Anyway, adios, motherfucker.